All right, welcome back. You're watching NewsX. A large cache of firearms and ammunition have been surrendered in Manipur. A total of 87 firearms were surrendered before the security forces in 7 districts. These 7 districts include Churachandpur, Imphal East, Bishnupur, Jiribam and Imphal West. Security forces and Forest Division has destroyed 35 acres of illegal poppy plantations worth about 3 crores. 90 lakhs in Kangpokpi districts. Additionally, the Arambai Tenggol delegation has met Governor to address grievances, and they said they will only surrender weapons when demands are met that include border fencing, destruction of entire poppy plantations and legal protection for village volunteers. Well, let's talk about this and these daily updates we are getting in terms of the improving situation and surrender in Manipur. Major General Sanjay Meston, senior defense expert, with us on the broadcast. Major General Rajan Kochar, defense expert, also joins us. Major General Vijesh Kumar, former DG Military Infrastructure, is also with us on the show, and Major Mohammad Ali Shah, defense expert, also joins us on the program. Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part of this conversation. General Kochar, I'll begin with you, sir. So daily we are in fact keeping a track of this policy that the government has adopted. And it's working out well, that before it is too late, surrender and cooperate, otherwise there will be hell to pay. What have you made of these initiatives that have come by and the people who have surrendered? Of course, we are learning that poppy fields have also been destroyed, which was also a sinister source of income for a lot of these illegal activities which were going on in Manipur. So,
thank you, Vineet, for inviting me for this important discussion. Since the time the president's rule has been declared, the governor has also moved with a great deal of intent. And we saw it right from the first day when he had his meeting with his entire security setup and security apparatus. And thereafter, we saw a focused approach. And why I'm calling it a focused approach? Because the first and the foremost task for him was to demilitarize the civil society. The civil society, as far as Manipur is concerned, consists of basically Kukis, Metis and Nagas. And Kukis and Metis were the two prominent groups where the weapons were with them. And especially, we are all aware of the looting of armories, and only 47% of those weapons have been recovered. And apart from that, from across the Myanmar border, also the weapons have been smuggled in. So the village defense committees today of both the groups are very heavily armed. They have trenches all over their places, and they are in a warlike situation. And therefore, the governor had his task cut out, and one very important strategy he took out was amnesty for a period of 7 days, that all those who have arms with them should surrender. Unfortunately, this 7-day period ends tomorrow. So I personally feel, I mentioned in your program yesterday also, that this 7 days period would need to be extended, because yesterday only we heard the Arambai Tenggol Mighty group had met the governor, and you just mentioned the number of demands which have been placed on the governor. I feel there should be no precondition for talks, because if somebody wants peace, you cannot make out a list of a number of your issues and you expect the governor to accept them straight away, because it won't be possible for him. He will have to call for a dialogue. He will have to call the parties of conflict in question on the table, and it's not an easy job, because this problem is not a nascent problem. It's a very, very old problem. Right from the Britishers' time, this legacy has been actually given to us. So it will have to be done in a very graduated manner. So this Methi group should also understand that if you are interested in peace, you cannot have a a precondition for ensuring peace. The first step you need to cooperate with the governor, which the governor also conveyed in the meeting, was to tell all your groups to surrender the arms. The second important aspect, which is related to this, which the governor must also do, is he must ensure the security of the people, especially the internally displaced people. 60,000 people are the IDP who need to get back to their homes, because right now 350 refugee camps are there and all these people are staying there. So a governor's concern should be that as soon as he is able to have the entire security of the state in control in a gradual manner, these people must return to their homes. And he has also initiated the supply chain movement and the movement of people from the hills to the valley and valley to the hills. So I think that the intent of the governor is very good, because he also has a mandate which is not timeless. According to my assessment, I think 6 months, because assembly is in suspended animation, and that implies that any time when the government feels the leader of the house can be selected by the BJP party, and they can request the governor to form the government once again. So I feel, and the elections are 2 years away. So in my assessment, governor has got around 6 months of time. At the most, couple of more months, his president rule may be extended. And I'm sure and I'm confident in the time the governor has, he will initiate these measures. And especially, Vineet, where I talk about these IDPs, I think that is a very important concern which the governor will have to keep in mind.
Okay.
Thank you, Vineet.
Let me also rope in Major Mohammad Ali Shah, defense expert in this conversation. Mohammad Ali Shah, of course, knows Manipur like the back of his hand. He is, in fact, if I'm not wrong, he's been posted there. He's been felicitated by a number of bureaucrats and lawmakers from Manipur, understands the situation quite well. Ali, today we are, of course, exploring the progress that has been made in Manipur. We are also trying to figure out how the government is trying, under the president's rule, Ali, to nip the problem in the bud. Even sources of funding for a lot of these forces that are trying to play with the peace in Manipur are being targeted now. How is that a great thing?
Right, Vineet. It is very, very sad that we have allowed the situation to go on for so long.
Can you please turn on your camera, Ali? We can't see you.
I think there's something wrong with the network. Wait, let me just. Can you hear me now, Vineet?
I can hear you. I can't see you, Ali. We need to see you to take you.
I will just log in. I'm so sorry. I think there's some issue with my network.
Okay, why don't you join back, Ali? Let me rope in General Mesto into this conversation as well. General Mesto, same question for you as well, sir. Now, of course, there seems to be a granular approach coming along by the government under the president's rule when it comes to cutting out the financing also, which has fomented trouble in Manipur for so long.
Yeah, very true. The governor is taking rightful steps, and I think we are moving in the correct direction. But now I think we have to address the basic issues. And what are the basic issues? Number one, that the Meiteis, the Kukis and the Nagas, I'm talking about the common man over there. They are interested in peace. They do not want anything what has happened in the last few years. And they want to go back all from the May 3, 2023, they want to go back in that era. And of course, they don't want to go in the era of 1990. So basically, they want peace. Number two, what is the problem? Is it security related or is it a politico-socio-economic problem? I would say it is a politico-socio-economic problem. Reason being, if that is unaddressed, then it resorts to security implications. That's a natural follow. So therefore, what are the politico-socio-economic issues which need to be addressed, whether by the governor or whatever, he's in power, of course. I think number one is the issue of coming on to the socio aspects, is the land issue. We are all aware that the Meiteis are having a problem of land, and just about 10 to 15% of the valley is occupied by them. Their population is approximately 50%. but they are not allowed to go to hills. And maybe if you ask a common Maiti, would he be interested to go to hills? Since one has been in these areas and interacted with them, I think their lifestyle in valley is very comfortable. They are doing local fisheries and all agriculture, so they are quite comfortable there. But the issue remains is of land. For the cookies, what is the basic problem? Is the development. Unfortunately, in the valley, there is everything. There are universities, there are colleges, there are medical institutes, there are medical hospitals of a very high standard. But when you come into the hill areas where the cookies are staying or the Nagas are staying, the development is hardly there and hardly they get any budget. So this is another issue which has to be resolved. And therefore, keeping all these factors and another ground reality, now there are three aspects, there are three ethnicities, the Maitis, the Kukis, and of course the Nagas. Now, it is not even a seesaw. It is something like there are three dimensions to it. So everyone's concerns have to be addressed. That is the core issue. Now, how can they be addressed? I think the governor needs to constitute a team, independent team. That is most important, who need to go to ground level. If you start having people, the Maitis or Kukis or the Nagas, who have been in the decision making, I think then the correct feedback will not come. People have to go to grassroots village level. This team meet everyone across, ask them what exactly they want. Because if we understand the problem, then only the solution will come. And therefore, security becomes a related issue. If these are not addressed, then it leads to all these issues. Now, why are the cookies cultivating poppy? Obviously, there is no development. There is ease of access of the drugs coming from Myanmar, including synthetic drugs. And the whole machinery is involved. The government machinery is also involved. The drugs flow right up to the valley, and from valley they come into hinterland India. And the more transit it has, the narco-terrorism or the funding increases. So this is an issue. So obviously there has to be development in the entire Manipur, which includes hills. Some kind of a budget allocation has to be, whether it has to be done on, they have to be given some autonomy. All these things have to be thought of. And this solution will come only from the people of Manipur. And when I say people of Manipur, it is a common Kukis, Maitis, and Nagas who are, the people, no one is hearing their concerns. So this team has to go to all villages, speak to them. And I think maybe 6 months time needs to be given to them so that some kind of a feedback from all these grassroots level comes up, and they need to give this presentation to the governor. And I think these are the core issues which need to be addressed. And now, since we are talking about arms, the surrender of arms, this all will happen. Everything will come back. The day trust is there, the trust deficit is removed, and where there is prosperity and peace and there is development. So the basic politico-socio-economic issue needs to be focused. If they are left unaddressed, then it leads to security problems. And if security problems are there, then we are aware what are the security implications. It's a very sensitive northeastern state. And I think we all keep talking about fencing. Now, having served in this area, and physically one has worked and even carried out some operations across to Myanmar, I remember the terrain is so dense. Even if we put, let me tell you, firstly, fencing cannot be put everywhere. Can Nagas allow the fencing to be put on the Ukhrul side? The clear-cut answer is no. And even if you put fencing, the drugs will keep coming through Mizoram, through the Ukhrul area, or maybe through Nagaland. So the routes will change. However, coming on to fencing, firstly, putting fencing is not easy. It's a difficult task. Even if you put it, you require large number of Assam Rifle troops to be physically monitoring and observing and guarding these fencing. You put an obstacle system without an observation or domination of troops, then it is of no use. It can be breached very easily. So do we have the wherewithal to have large number of troops deployed there? The answer has to be thought by the government of India. And again, coming on to this issue of drugs, I think this has to be addressed at the national level, whether it is Punjab, whether it is Manipur. The policy has to be very clear. Drugs shall not be accepted in India. And anyone doing this drug trade or got drugs or even consumption, he has to be given strict punishment. Everything will stop, whether it is from the Golden Crescent or from the Golden Triangle. The political will and the resolve has to be there. And I think it's a combination of all these simultaneously actions we have to take. which will result in harmonious peace and development of Manipur. Vinit.
You're absolutely right, sir. In fact, let me rope in General Kumar as well. General Brajesh Kumar, the emphasis is to not foment further trouble. The emphasis is also for the people to realize that peace is the only option, and the emphasis is also to keep the future in mind. By that I mean that there's definitely an importance being given to both these communities. Coming to a point where something like this does not happen in Manipur again. Am I right?
Vineet, firstly, thank you for having me with you. See, I have a little different take on the Manipur canvas itself. Manipur has been a frontier state, a border state, since it joined us. A brief look at the history will help us appreciate and understand the problem a little better. That means, I presume, or I am convinced, that this issue is not going to get solved in a time frame of months. It will take years, having served there, having commanded my unit, and having seen the history of it. Now let me tell you how and why. Out of 27 lakhs odd people, the Mighties constitute 60%. The heart of it, they stay in the valley, which is congested, as my colleague General Messon was saying. The Nagas to the north, the Tangkhul Nagas, Tangkhul and Nagas are the ones who had controlled the leadership of NSCN in the northern areas of Ukhrul, and in the center, the other Nagas. In the southeast and east, there the Kukis community. A word about Mighty. Mighty had a growl in 1949 when the state got into merge with India. The feeling was, and it is quite true, that it was done with the strong arm tactics in 1949 in the Shillong Accord. They had a growl there. Mighty itself has a very old culture, very, very old culture. If you talk of Pakhamba, the dragon god which they have, it dates back to 77 AD approximately. They have their own language, they have their own culture. Manipur dance form is Indian classical dance form. Manipur paintings are exclusive. Polo, horse polo, which is played along the globe, originated in Manipur. Manipur Mighties are Vaishnava. Like you have a Holi being played in Mathura, with equal sort of fervor, it is played in the Imphal West. Manipur's contribution to India's sports, just imagine, 18, 19 lakhs population, is huge. We all heard of the weightlifting women folk, the Chanu sisters, the Mary Com, they're the footballers, they're the hockey guys. So they are pretty rich in culture. They thought they were wrong. They are a dominant community, and that is one. And the second aspect is the Nagas, which I talked about. The problem in Nagaland was managed by the leadership based in Manipur. So we really be two strong kind of a communities which are very, very mature. Thirdly, the Kukis are the new guys who came into play a little later, but fair amount of wealth. Now these three communities, they have been playing with each other, fighting with each other across decades first. Initially, it was the Nagas and the Kukis for control of drug route and the revenue there. That happened in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. That got settled. Now the Mighty's problem with Kukis on the issue of scheduled tribe. The Nagas, Tangkhul Nagas have taken, and Maram Nagas, Mao Maram Nagas have taken the tribe to the Kukis. So that is what the canvas says. Now this tapestry has always been there. I know from ages that for keeping these people together, we had a very strong presence. Actually, with the Assam Rifles, the division strength, IGAR South, and also the 57th Infantry Division, which is there. Besides, host of other para-civil police organizations. So government is aware, we are aware that this can blow up any point of time. What we heard 2 years back, or year and a half back, was a trigger. So this trigger can happen when the communities are involved. Mind you, it's an affluent place if you happen to be there. If you land up at the Turial airport and drive to Imphal, oh, it looks you're in a different world altogether. There are policewomen there. Women folk are very, very, shall I say, swavalambi. They're independent. There's a Buria market. The widows go and sell their own stuff. So the canvas of Manipur is not because of lack of development, lack of resources. It is basically because of lack of trust between the three major communities. Second, the politicking. The sea tribal area, there is plenty of money pumped in by the center. So the politicking is towards, the politics, contractor, builder, nexus, which goes again to the insurgents. And insurgents help these people to win power, so there is a nexus.
All right, sir. Let me quickly rope in Mohammad Ali Shah as well. We have a paucity of time as well. Ali, before we lost you, you were making a point, and I'm going to reiterate this. You're quite familiar with what's happening in Manipur. How would you categorize and sum up? What's your synopsis of the events for the last few days since the president's rule has been imposed?
Right, Vineet, that's a very, very good question. Now, ever since the present rule has been imposed, and in fact, since the new governor, Mr. Ajay Bhalla, who was the Home Secretary earlier, he took over, things are looking up. And things are not, I would not say things are normalized as yet. It would take time, and I hope it takes no time. But now, when the governor appealed to people that he'll give them 7 days to surrender their weapons. Now we saw a total of 87 firearms and ammunition. They were surrendered before the security forces in 7 districts of Manipur. Now the largest of them were from Imphal. Among them, there were 12 carbine magazine machine guns, and there were 2 303 rifles. There were 2 SLR rifles. There were 4 12-bore single-barrel guns and IEDs. In Jiribam district, among other weapons surrendered were 12-bore double-barrel guns, 1 9mm carbine, magazine, and a grenade, and so on and so forth. Now, the very fact that, since you asked this, Vineet, it is a matter of grave concern that we have allowed the situation to go on for a long time. Now, with the Chief Minister resigning, Mr. N. Biren Singh resigning from there, and the present rule coming in there, I hope it acts as a balm to a lot of people who were not happy with the Chief Minister. The Kuki tribe, for example, they were not happy with the Chief Minister. In fact, yesterday there was a report by the NIA. We were on this show where the NIA said that the drones which were used in Manipur were procured from NCR, in fact, from Delhi, from Rohtak, and such places. Now the very fact is, if drones were procured from NCR, they should have been a proper check and balance about, because drone is not something like aloo piyaz which you will just buy in the market. It's like buying arms and ammunition. So, it is something very, very lethal. So, again, we have to understand that, for example, one Tharaos being Kuki gentleman, he was accused that he had done the payment by cash and online and such things. And then there was somebody from the non-Kuki community also who came in. So these weapons were supplied, sophisticated weapons were supplied not just from across the border, within the country itself. So it is indeed very, very distressing to see our own countrymen, because people from Manipur are, again, they have contributed a great deal towards nation building. In fact, you talk about Mirabai Chanu, you talk about Mary Kom, you talk about Ratan Thyam. In fact, in the year 2023, when there was a very, very big international level polo tournament there was Femina Miss India, which was held over there, Manipur, which was making great progress, in fact. And in fact, one more thing, Mr. N. Biren Singh, the Chief Minister, had said after 2018, there have been no illegal immigrants over there in Manipur and such things. Recently, I just saw a tweet by Mr. N. Biren Singh where he said that the previous governments were at fault because they had allowed a lot of people from illegal immigrants to come in. Now, isn't it contrary now, with all due respect to Mr. N. Biren Singh, it is slightly contrary I see over here, because when I see people they were Maitin and they were Kukis who were not happy with the Chief Minister, in fact, and they were blaming him, they were accusing him for things to come forward, and there were audio tapes which were leaked. Now, those audio tapes, whether they were actually his or not, it's a matter of inquiry still. It's still not ascertained as yet. And there are people who are sharing the clips. I would urge people to share it, who are sharing the clips, not to share it, because nowadays AI is in vogue. AI is the latest thing. So we never know whether it's AI generated or what. Though there were cases where they said that over 90%, 93%, the voice resembled his. And the Supreme Court also gave a ruling that, okay, it needs further investigation. That could have hurt his ego. There were various such things. Now, the very fact is, when we have a state like Manipur come in, where is the interlocutor? I strongly urge the powers to be, in fact, to appoint not just a peace committee, because they had appointed a peace committee of 51 members. There were Maites, Cookies, Nagas, there were politicians as well, in that as well. Keep the politicians away from it. They should be a team of delegates. Team can be more than two, in fact. They can be more. People who understand Manipur very well, people who are neither Cookies nor Maites, people who are acceptable to both the communities, who are in good terms, who can actually manage to get both the communities on table to talk. It's very difficult, but not impossible. They are people, they are former GOCs, they are former Director General Assam Rifles. Lieutenant Pradeep Nair is he retired recently as the Director
Ali,
General of
we've
Assam
run out
Rifles.
of time, but appreciate everybody who joined us, and thank you for your perspective, thank you for your time, and thank you for your expertise on this sensitive issue. We take a short break. Be right back.